Hey, how are y'all doing today? So, I put my overnight highs here, my overnight lows here. Um, they're not here because this is around 8:30, so this is just a breakout of the overnight. But basically, I didn't get any trades till kind of later than usual. I think like it was 9:50, but But anyway, so we started off in this range. I started trading around this time right here. I saw that we had this leg up. I put the overnight high there, or I put it there, right off those bodies, but just because of how it reacted later off, I left it here, and I'm just gonna leave it here for now. So I had this leg up. I was gonna see if we could get a measured leg. We turned down before reaching it, but I do want to point out that it does end up reaching it basically to the tick. Like you can see those bodies reacting off of it over on the right. Um, yeah, so I just wanted to point that out, but and that was also a reason that I liked this trade over here. Um, so yeah, I'll go over that when I get to it, but anyway, so sorry, one sec. God, excuse me. I'm not feeling too well. Anyway, so we have a couple legs up. We push back into the range. So this right here is really. Oh, and I'm starting around here. I'm not going to go through all this because I'm basically just starting where I saw. I'm going through the price action from where I started. So when I started, it was around here. So I saw that we got this leg up. I'm looking for longs inside of it. There's really nothing. You only get these tiny shallow corrections to the EMA. You really don't get anything worth taking. And then eventually you just have a couple legs up. You break out of the overnight high. Most breakouts fail. And then here you get the first okay looking setup, but it's not something that I would take, and I'll explain why. And it's for a reason I talk about a lot. And basically, it is a. Well, first off, you do have this first entry long, second entry long failure, but that's a tiny picture. What I see is I see a first entry long, second entry long failure, rushing below the EMA after two legs up off the overnight high. I didn't take it because I like to go for 1 to 2 big targets, and usually I like to see a break of the short-term trend line that they're in if I'm going to go for 1 to 2 target, and of course it ends up working here this time, but it traps, it ticks higher, it ticks lower. It was really tempting, but I've been going for big targets, and I know that that's not something that I can go for 1 to 2 on regularly and be profitable. So I thought it's best to skip, but it's definitely not a horrible setup for. I know that there's a lot of people who go for smaller targets, so it's definitely a good area to go short. I mean, it's a reversal pattern coming in from the overnight highs after two legs up, so it's not that bad. It didn't fit one of my rules that I always make myself follow. So anyway, but basically what I see here now is I extended this downtrend, so we have a downtrend break, new low. So that is a sign of a bullish imbalance when a downtrend has a break and a new low inside the range and it bounces way early. So that's bullish imbalance for the range. But here you get this uptrend and it plays out with a break and a new high immediately. So of course, now I'm thinking we can go back down, and I didn't take this trade because it was kind of just confusing area because we just downtrend played out here and then uptrend played out here right in the middle. But I looking at it, I think that you could have easily rode this down to the lows of the range. Your stop would have had to go above this green bar, but I mean, look at that. You could have. That's an all right trade to ride down to these lows, because I know that the downtrend played out, and I was talking about how there's a bullish imbalance, but this uptrend already played out, which means that there's no uptrend in play. So you can in this move down is definitely bigger than this move up, even though they're played out. At this point in time, there's still more bearish momentum immediately coming off of the overnight highs, and I'm not going to think, oh well, well, there's more bullish moves up than bearish moves down, but this completely played out, and then it rushed below and gave a reversal pattern at the exact area where you'd expect one. So I really think there's more bearish momentum here than bullish, even though you have these couple swings higher. So that's what I was thinking there. Didn't take that, anyway. So we make this new low. We bounce early. Have a first entry short, second entry short, failure. That's not a good entry. You just get, it is an uptrend break expecting new high, but that's not off of anything. It's chip chop through the EMA. I don't see anything high probability there. Yeah, we make it this leg up, so now we have these two legs up. They look to be measured. So yeah, they're measured to like this body, which is not too uncommon, but it does turn down from there. There's really no entries. You get this first entry long, second entry long, failure. This is so chip choppy. I didn't even draw a range here in real time, just because I just didn't need to. But you are going into this range here. I'm gonna delete it because I'm just explaining it how I saw it. But you get this lower high. You do get it. It's a massive bearish bar. Out of all the places to enter within here, that's the best entry, and I would say the second best entry would be this short, and it's not even that good, but it does have a trap there. The downtrend break, it does make a new low, but you can get a second leg. The most recent trend was this uptrend. It did play out, so I think it's not terrible if you shorted there, but that's pretty sketchy setup. I didn't take that. That stuff kind of just worries me. It's just very confusing and choppy. It's sideways in the middle of a range, so I didn't want to take anything in there. So anyway, eventually we do make a new low. We go into a little congestion here, and we get a first entry short, second entry short. And I know that there's technically a tick there, but on a larger picture, there's just first entry short, second entry short, failure. It's a reversal pattern. Now here's the thing. I tried to take this, but I did not get filled. Let me show you. I tried to get in with a limit order on the end of this red bar, and I waited after this bullish bar triggered. Which, let me mark this. I forgot to draw the circle. So, it's a pretty decent looking entry. I mean, the downtrend played out, and if you look on a bigger picture, you have two legs down here. That's a leg down. That's a leg down. It's played out. Bullish imbalance. I mean, this bullish imbalance ended up not working because it ended up just moving lower. But when you have two clear legs down and then it goes into a range and then you get a reversal pattern, that's a clear sign of a bullish imbalance. So that's what I was thinking there. Then we push up. We have a shallow correction. It doesn't reach. Oh yeah, and I got this channel pretty early. I knew that there was, I tried drawing something off of there, and it didn't hold, but once we did get up to here, I ended up getting this channel pretty fast, but I'm not sure how valid it is. I don't really think it's valid. I think I'm just going to remove it, but I should have just seen it like uptrend, break, new high. Yeah, that looks better. We have uptrend, break, new high. We have this entry off. Oh, dang, I think I missed something here. Okay, it has a short-term trend line blocking it. That makes me feel better about missing it, but anyway, we have a couple legs back off the key entry point. There's no good setup there. I mean, it's just, I'd want to go for 1 to 2. I mean, it's kind of just a confusing area because you came off the overnight highs, so you'd be looking for shorts, and now it's holding out. Now you're getting a long setup off the EMA. It's just it was just kind of sketchy looking trades at first. Just nothing was super clear or anything. Nothing that I thought was really high probability for a decent target. But anyway, we have a couple legs out, really nothing to take, and then we have these two legs up. So at this point, what I'm saying is, okay, great. We have two clear legs up, and we just hit the measured move. So at this point, I'm wanting to fade the range. I'm wanting it to fade back down and go at least retest the range. And so, let me zoom in here. So after we had the couple legs up, we're at the measured move, which I'll just draw that to signify we're at the measured move. We immediately turn down. We go into this downtrend. We have a break. We're expecting a new low. The signal bar, I didn't mind that it wasn't a great signal bar because I was basically taking a reversal pattern. To the tick, it is a reversal pattern. You have first entry long, tick higher, second entry long, failure. But what I was playing it as was really just it's an area for a reversal, and I just saw it as downtrend break, expecting a new low at the perfect area for a reversal, and then technically it does have a failed second entry, but it's kind of hard to see, but it's clearly there. But anyway, when this was setting up, the only thing that I was requiring it to do in order for me to take it was close below this blue line. If it had closed above, then it would have been blocked by a short-term trend line, so I would not have been able to take that. So anyway, very good trade. 1 to 2, expecting to retest these lows, which is exactly what happens. Anyway, so that's a pretty good looking trade. So we push lower, we bounce off these highs, because that's the overnight high. And then we go into this uptrend, and then this I took a loss right after. It's just this was a stupid trade. Like I totally just neglected the fact that we had bounced off of the overnight highs, had a big bullish momentum, and then when I entered, I was entering on the uptrend break, first attempt higher, and I was basically betting on a failure of that. I kind of just got a little bit sidetracked, I guess. I mean, it's not a good entry, and then this downtrend has a break. It's just the first attempt lower. I felt pretty weird after I entered on that and got stopped out. I mean, because I immediately saw what I did wrong. I think I just wasn't focusing enough. I was kind of just taking this like, oh, okay, we could still fade the range, and then taking this entry rushing below the EMA. But realistically, that was just the first attempt at a new high from this uptrend, and the first attempt lower from this downtrend break. So that's a really terrible entry. So it's whatever that that happens, whatever. So anyways, we go into this range. Excuse me, I feel like I'm getting sick. Anyways, we have this range, we have these lows. Now, so this was the next trade, and clearly, we did retest these highs. The highs. We break out, we tested them, we pushed above the EMA, we kind of just immediately started chopping around, going into this range. So, clearly there's enough bulls to not fade this range because we bounced off. So I'm willing to go long. I'm willing to fade this smaller range and bet on this one not needing to be faded because we did get a retest already, which means that, there's going to be a lot less people trying to fade it, most likely. So that's what I'm thinking there. But, there's really nothing to take in this chop. It just sets up the range for us, and then we get a clear breakout. Obviously, I did not enter with a stop on this bar. I had to wait for this bullish bar to form and then to trigger, and then I barely came back and got me. But yeah, 7.5 points. Rode it to the very highs of the range. One thing I did do that I don't usually do, and I talk about how I don't mind it having to tick through the very end of the range a lot, but I did lower it one tick, which I need to update this because there we go. So that 7.25, not I wrote 7.5 because that's what that said, but no, I lowered my target one single tick because I was kind of worried because I just took this loss. I was kind of just thinking, I don't want to take a risk, so lowered it one tick. It ended up not mattering, but we push up, we get to this next trade, and I know the first thing that everyone's gonna think congestion, but I'll explain. So uptrend, break, new high. So the uptrend has played out. We did break out of this range. We are expecting a fade. Now, just remember, with congestion, okay, if the context is good, you can enter in congestion, just plain and simple. It's just, it's a lot harder to enter because it looks a lot more choppy. But here's what I see. I see uptrend, break, and let me draw this. First leg up, second leg up. So uptrend, break, 2 clear legs. I can see it through the chop. I mean, it's pretty clear. You know, it's clear to me because I've been, you know, okay. It's clear to me is my point. So I go for 1 to 2. I did do the same thing. God, I forgot to update this thing too. It's 5.25, not 5.5. So I did lower it 1 tick again just to be on the end because this one had to go out. I just wanted it to lower it to be on the end. I was still kind of worried because of this loss. Whenever I take a loss, it kind of screws me up for the rest of the day a little bit. So I probably shouldn't have lowered my targets on either of these because then it's not technically 1 to 2, but it's just 1 tick, and I was kind of worried about it, so it's whatever. But anyway, so we reach the lows. Once we reach the lows, we have a little breakout pullback. We push lower, and at this point, we do go back into the overnight range. So, and then I want to talk about this channel because I got this channel really early, actually. So I got it purely off the lows, and then I dragged the other side up to that high right there just to see how prices would react off of it. And then I missed this trade, which I do think this is a good trade. And yes, I understand that there's a short-term trend line, but the bigger trend is probably going to play out. I mean, going to win out. Also, it's a retest of this overnight low, and it has an overshoot anyway inside of that short-term trend line. So I'm not exactly scared of it, but I didn't take it because I had left the room just for a sec, and then I came back. I was literally waiting for something. I was waiting for a good short in this area, and I left the room and came back, and it was already forming this bar by the time I got back. So, you know, it's whatever. But oh yeah, I don't mean to skip over anything. So I drew it off these lows, and then I extended it, put it up there. I was basically just waiting for it to get a good retracement, and then, you know, we went into this range right here after pushing lower, breakout, a couple shallow corrections. There's really nothing you can take, especially for, you know, like a decent target. You know, these corrections, they're not getting to the EMA, so nothing there. First entry right off the EMA, that looks absolutely terrible. You know, you're going to need like a break, new high. You're going to need these to play out because when you come off and, oh, I moved it on accident. There it is. And so when you come off the lows of a channel, just like in the lows of a range, you're expected to reach the other side. So this little uptrend has to play out before I can go short again, even though we're in a downtrend. I mean, you know, even though it's a downtrend, there are still going to be buyers buying these lows. I mean, it is a resistance area, so, you know, there's going to be people buying no matter what. I marked this area. I don't think there's a good trade here. That's why I marked it with a red circle, but it is an important area. And it's kind of related to a trade that I took. There's a trade I recorded. It was one of the more recent ones. But basically, I took a trade, and I had missed a bigger downtrend, and okay, let me just explain this, and then I'll relate it to the other trade. So we came off these lows again, and then we had this uptrend. Now, when you have an uptrend, short-term uptrend, coming off the lows of a channel, you do need it to play out. And so it only had one attempt at a new high, and it closed above the EMA. So, you know, I would be too scared of it giving another leg up. So I would not want to enter there. And so basically I had taken a trade like this where we were in a big downtrend. It was much bigger than this. It was like a daily big downtrend on the trade I'm talking about. And I didn't have the downtrend somehow. And then I entered a short based on something like this, and I didn't realize that it had just come off of the lows of a channel, and then it did go one tick from my stop. I ended up winning the trade. And you can go watch that one. I forgot. I mean, you know, it's one of the recent ones. I didn't title it anything specific, so I don't know what to point you to, but it's one of my recent live trade videos. So that's what I'm thinking there. It's just not good enough because of those reasons. Anyways, we push lower. We have a tiny little overshoot of this channel, which we do there too, but this one is, I mean, that's basically holding the way that those bars are forming. That's resistance. That's a clear break. It just shot right through. But anyway, we have a retracement, second entry, off the EMA, and also off these overnight highs, or off these overnight lows, sorry. And then we go into this range, and then this, I was waiting patiently for something. I didn't get anything perfect. I left the room, you know, just for a little bit, and I came back. This had already occurred, and then also started going down. And once again, I understand there's a short-term trend line blocking it, and I talk about that all the time, and that can make trades invalid, but it is right off the key entry point of a bigger trend, and it's also retesting the overnight lows with an overshoot of this little trend. So that looks perfectly fine to me. So you just need to write it down to these lows, or 1 to 2 down to those lows. Let me draw the thing there. So yeah, you'd be able to get 1 to 2 down to the lows. Yeah, so anyway, we push lower. Excuse me. God, I might not be able to trade tomorrow. Wait, tomorrow's Saturday, so I'm not gonna trade anyway. Hopefully, I'll feel better by the. I don't feel that sick. I've been feeling kind of crummy, but not enough to really stop me from doing daily tasks. So hopefully, by the time the weekend is over, I'll feel better. Because I don't want it to be worse by the time the next trading session comes along. Because then I might just skip the trading day. But I don't know. Sorry. It's downtrend. Sorry. So we go into this little range. We're still in the downtrend. Here you can look for a short. We have the short-term uptrend. Break. It doesn't have any attempt at a new high, so you really can't take that short right there. But we do get the second leg up here. So now we have 2 legs up. Break out of this range. It's also a break of this downtrend, so you can expect a new low. I did not take this. Yes, I was out of the room for this as well, actually. And I did actually stop early, kind of like yesterday. I stopped early, and then I came back, traded for a little bit longer later in the day, and then did the video. But this looks decent. I was not here to take it, but it's 2 legs up, break out of this range, it closes out of a short-term trend line. The downtrend has a break. You are expecting a new low. It's been chopping straight through the EMA, so you shouldn't exactly be scared of the EMA going into it. So, I mean, I see a pretty good-looking trade right there. So, but yeah, you would definitely need a closeout of this uptrend. Otherwise, you would want to avoid that. So, anyway, the downtrend gets a break, new low, immediately goes into a range. That's very common. That's one of the most common things I see. It with downtrend, or any trend plays out with a break and a new high or low, and then immediately forms a range. That's extremely common. So here you'd be looking for shorts. At this point, I was not trading. I ended up trading a little bit at the end and not getting anything, but I was gone at this during this portion. I was gone, but I marked up some things I thought. Some areas I thought looked important, but not necessarily good trades. So we clearly get the range defined at this point. We have an uptrend break, new high, really good signal bar, but look at the EMA. It's not necessarily chopping straight through it. I mean, it's kind of holding off of the EMA there. So, I mean, it's really not the best looking entry. I mean, so yeah, it's just the fact that it's clearly like holding right off the EMA, like look here, you have to go into it, but it's chopped straight through, chopped straight through, chopped straight through. This is like hold once, it's clearly resisting there again, and then even your signal bar ends up resisting off of it. So that's kind of sketchy, to be honest with you. And then also, before you can even get filled on it, you get 2 more rejection bars off the EMA. And then look, it doesn't last that long in the move down. So that's just something to think about. So, a couple attempts down, immediately reverse, hit. And let me just show you this short picture stuff really fast. just like what I talk about on the bigger picture, you have a downtrend, break, new low, and then a reversal pattern. First entry short, second entry short, failure. But that's way too short term to take anything. So, but I'm just saying it happens on every single level. There's so many levels of price action. You can zoom out, start to see bigger picture stuff like leg up, break, second leg up, and then on a bigger picture you'd see leg up, break, second leg up. You see what I mean? But anyway, so we break out of the range. We get a breakout pullback. It doesn't quite reach it. I was kind of thinking maybe the range was up here and maybe it is a breakout pullback, but now I kind of think that it should stay here and it didn't quite reach it. But clearly there's no good entry. It's just two legs down, rushing below the EMA and then rejecting the EMA, not offering any entry, blocked by a short-term trend line. It's just an area that looks important because the downtrend just played out. That's a pretty common way to reverse. You know, you get a couple big legs out of the range that occurred after the downtrend played out, and then, you know, you can get a reversal. But I mean, it's just, there's clearly too many bears trying to fade this range. They're trying to push it back lower. So I mean, I wouldn't want to enter on something like that. And I do understand it works there, but it might not next time. So anyway, we have a couple legs up, and excuse me, getting tired too. We have a couple legs up. We push below the EMA. We have a first entry short. First entry long, second entry long, failure. I wasn't trading till like more like here again when I started trading again, but that's not something I would want to enter on anyway. But it's basically just really choppy. Technically you do get it, first entry long, second entry long, failure, but you don't really get it in a good setup that you'd want to take, especially for a decent target. So, you know, it's just so choppy. You don't get any clear entries. I mean, this bar closes all the way down here. It closes like 1,000 points away from the EMA. So, or let me see, it closes over 4 points away from the EMA. So that's not something I'd really want to be taking. And after the downtrend has a break and a new low, look what it immediately does. It rushes above the EMA and gives you a first entry short, second entry short, failure, a reversal pattern. It does not last very long. Clearly it stays down with the bias, but it happened once again there. Just want to point that out. As soon as we make this new high, we immediately, see, look at this, you guys. Downtrend, break, new low, immediately reverses with a reversal pattern, and then as soon as this uptrend has a break and a couple legs to a new high, it goes straight back into a downtrend, break, first attempt lower, second attempt lower. Like, it literally goes like clockwork, just like that, you know? So anyway, there's no entries, it's extremely choppy. This when it's going sideways looking this awful, I mean, just avoid everything. I mean, I don't see anything appealing in here. This is just chop. This is just some agonizing price action to look at. And then finally here, this is a much more decent entry than anything in here. Downtrend break, expecting a new low. You get a clear break out of a range right here. I don't think that closes into any, yep, does not close in. It's a second entry short. Closes below the EMA, closes outside of the short-term trend line. You can clearly make a new low. You can go for 1 to 2 before these range lows. God, that looks really good. I wish I got that. I guess I just stopped right before, like I started trading again over here, and then I stopped right before I got that, I guess. But yeah, that looks pretty good. Or I'm not going to mark it green because I didn't take it. I'm just going to mark it with a circle. But yeah, that looks like a pretty good trade. Anyways, we rush below. We get this lower high inside the range. That pushes us lower, and that's it for the day. So, anyway, that's it for the day. It was really today was a different kind of day. Usually my days are I'm going to trade here, trade here, trade here. But, you know, this time it was just like, it felt sketchy in the morning. I wasn't wanting to take anything, and then it was kind of just rapid fire, some trades in here. And then it kind of just got slower, not necessarily slower, just slower on the entries for the rest of the day. So that's kind of how my day was today. Anyway, hope you all learned something from this video. let me know if you liked the video. Let me know if I did good in this video, in terms of explaining everything and if I could improve or whatever. Um, I try to make it as clear as possible. I mean, when I started this channel, I mean, I never intended it to be a channel to like teach anyone anything. I mean, and that I really am not intending to teach anyone anything. I'm just showing what I do. Just communicating with some like-minded traders, and I do understand a lot of the people watching my channel, or like 99% of the people watching my channel, are watching it to learn, and I'm really thankful for that. I mean, it's very exciting watching people subscribe to my channel. I mean, it's like, I mean, I kind of understand why I'm getting so many subscribers. At first, I was like, why are so many people subscribing to me? It's like, but it's like, I mean, I'm kind of understanding it now. But yeah, I just hit 800 subscribers before I made this video. I'm gonna check right now on my phone. Let's see. 802. Literally 2 more since the last time I checked, 30 minutes ago. So it's like, that's crazy. I mean, I'm really happy people are liking these videos, and it's definitely fun growing the channel. I really do enjoy making the videos. It's definitely fun. Like, I'm in the YouTube app right now, not the regular one, the one that the Creator Studio app, and let's see. Last 28 days, it says I have 20,000 views, 1,400 watch hours, and in the last 28 days, I've gained 358 subscribers. I mean, that's just insane. I mean, I never thought I'd have a channel. I never thought I'd, like, do something all on my own that people want to see me do, It's very exciting, and I appreciate all of you, so... Anyway, I guess I'll end the video now. That's it. Hope y'all enjoyed this review. Hope y'all found it helpful, and I guess I'll just see y'all in the next video on Monday.